You know, if you only read the headlines, you think AI is all about taking over the world. But today, we're going to flip that script. We're going to look at how it's being used to save it. And, get this, how the next generation of innovators is leading the charge.
I mean, let's be real for a second. We hear about AI constantly, but it's always this big, abstract, kind of sci-fi concept, right? But what if we just cut through all that noise and looked at what it's actually doing? Right now, on the ground. What if we could see it making a real, tangible difference?
This question, this right here, is at the very heart of what we're talking about today. Just think about that. It completely reframes our whole perspective. It suggests that the power to solve humanity's biggest, gnarliest problems isn't just for billion-dollar corporations anymore. It's happening as we speak, in university labs and, yeah, even college dorm rooms all over the world.
Okay, so to really get our heads around this shift, we have to separate the science fiction from the cold, hard reality. Let's break down what we think AI is versus what's actually happening out there.
So on one side, you've got the old theory, right? The sci-fi robots, the idea that it's this exclusive toy for big tech, all just complicated, abstract code. But then you look at the reality today, and it's a completely different picture. We're seeing student-led solutions making a real global impact, using AI as a tangible tool that anyone with a great idea can actually pick up and use. The game has totally changed.
Now, it's important to know, these students, they aren't just building the next photo-sharing app. No way. They are aiming so much higher. They're taking on what are known as grand challenges.
So, what exactly is a grand challenge? Well, it's not just a difficult problem. We're talking about a fundamental issue for society, the kind of thing that affects millions or even billions of people. And it takes a monumental leap, a real breakthrough in our thinking, to even begin to solve it.
Yeah, we're talking about the big ones. Things like completely revolutionizing healthcare, seriously battling climate change, tackling the root causes of global poverty, and maybe, just maybe, finally solving world hunger. I mean, these are the stakes we're playing for.
Okay, this all sounds absolutely incredible, but I know what you're probably thinking. How? How is this even possible? How can a group of students suddenly compete with massive R&D departments with endless budgets? What changed?
Well, it turns out it's kind of a perfect storm of four key things. First, students now have access to massive data sets like never before. Second, these incredibly powerful AI models are now open source. They're just out there for anyone to use. Third, you're seeing this brilliant mix of skills, biology students working with computer science majors and policy experts. And finally, universities are stepping up, providing amazing support and making collaboration easy. All right, and enough of the theory, let's get to the good stuff. Let's see the reality. Here are a couple mind-blowing examples of student-led projects that are already making a huge impact out in the real world. So our first story starts in the fields. One of the biggest threats to our global food supply is that crop diseases are often spotted too late. By the time a farmer can actually see the problem with their own eyes, it's often spread too far, and you can lose an entire harvest.
So this team of students at State University came up with AgroVision, and their idea is just brilliant because it's so simple. They use regular off-the-shelf drones to fly over fields and take pictures. Then, they feed those pictures into an AI model that they train to spot the absolute earliest signs of disease.
And the result is, well, it's stunning. Their AI can identify crop disease up to 3 weeks earlier than the human eye. 3 weeks. In farming, that's practically an eternity. It's the difference between saving your crop and losing everything.
Okay, let's jump from the farm to public health for our second example. A huge challenge here is figuring out how to get resources, like vaccines or medical supplies, to the communities that need them the most before a crisis explodes. How on earth do you predict where that's going to be?
So a team at Global Tech University created something called Health Equity AI. What they did was build a predictive model that sifts through enormous amounts of public data. We're talking sanitation levels, income data, past disease outbreaks, to pinpoint at-risk populations with unbelievable accuracy. And the outcome is just crystal clear. Before this tool existed, about 30% of crucial, life-saving resources were essentially misallocated, sent to the wrong places. With this AI model guiding the way, that waste just plummets. It lets health organizations target 70% of their resources with surgical precision. This doesn't just save money, it literally saves lives.
Now, these projects are amazing all on their own, right? But they point to something much, much bigger. We're talking about a fundamental change in who gets a seat at the table, who gets to solve the world's problems. So, if you take away one thing from all this, let it be this. Innovation is being democratized.
The power to create world-changing solutions isn't locked away in some ivory tower anymore. It's being spread out to passionate, creative people everywhere. So what does that really mean for our future? Well, it means faster solutions to global problems, because more people are working on them from all angles. It means more diverse perspectives in technology, which leads to better, fairer solutions for everyone. We're literally empowering an entire new generation of leaders. And maybe most importantly, it helps prove that AI can be and should be a powerful tool for good.
So I'll just leave you with this thought to chew on. If students, using tools that are accessible to pretty much anyone, could pull all of this off today, what grand challenge are they going to solve tomorrow? The possibilities, honestly, are limitless.